It is a classic, actually classic diplomacy to maintain friendship with all nations without condition. That is his adoption of this foreign policy initiative, Philippine First diplomacy. That's why he avoids confrontation with nation, but rather exhaustions of diplomatic initiative and discussion. And he wants to share with the world in finding solution to not just international conflict, but regional conflicts as well. Contributions of our wisdom to find peace and security with the rest of the world. So that is his marching order. But first of all, he wants to maintain our close ties with our people. His commitment to protect, to serve, and to assist all our people abroad, especially those distressed Filipino workers. Relation with the Arab world, you have to, there is a saying, when you are posted to any country, know the country, know the culture, not just GDP, not just square meter or boundaries, but know their idiosyncrasies, their religion. And when you do that, and you know your country, and you know yourself, you have nothing to fear. That is to paraphrase The Art of War by Chancha. There is tremendous potential for that. Of course, in relation to other Arab countries, they have rich resources, rich in oil and others. That's where most of our people are concentrated there. But here in Jordan, you have to look at it, the strategic importance on the basis of location and the attachments made by the Arab world to Jordan. If you look at Jordan, they have no oil resources, but the Arab look at this leadership, His Majesty, as a great descendants of Prophet Muhammad, with reverence and respect. That is an ace factor for Jordan. For the Philippines, if you look at the cases of Filipino workers, it's just a very good a second home for our workers with less problem, lesser problem. Meaning the people are good, the people are honorable people, and then that look upon our workers also with respect. So that is a plus factor for Jordan. As I said earlier, the strategic points pivotal in our evacuation in terms of crisis. That is the importance of and in relation to our Mindanao problems before, Jordan always hold a greater respect for our problems in Mindanao. The strategy is now coming. The visit, for example, initiate an eye-opening for our businessmen. What the potential of Jordan, and Jordan also the potential for the Philippines. Through this exchange of a visit and information, that's very important, because you have to know what we have, and they have to know also like that. One aspect is we have to be pioneering in our approach to different countries. Jordan, for example, one of the best potential for our product and investment is this concept of halal food, which is not being exploited by our businessmen. Why is Brazil, Argentina, New Zealand, Australia came up with halal food. Why cannot our factories in corned beef, sardinas can do so? It's a multi-billion-dollar industry that our businessmen should exploit. So information must flow harmoniously. I expect some positive one. For example, opportunities for our agricultural product like bananas, pineapple to come into it. That is one. So if we can explore that, then and the most important is the principle attached more than anything else. And when there is that principle, then everything will flow simultaneously, and then the Philippines is one of the greatest biggest supplier of seafarers all around the world. There is a saying, board any ship, anywhere in the world, you will always find a Filipino workers. Here, we have this entry point, the Gulf of Aqaba. And then that is very important that our certificate that will be recognized by the Royal Kingdom of Jordan. Very important yun on maritime issues. We take stock on that. If you recall, the Philippines and Jordans were the pioneers in forging an agreement regarding protections of workers. And I am told that the quality template versus what we are supposed to sign now is much, much better than what is being agreed upon with Kuwait. For instance, the access to internet and cell phone is now built into our new agreement. And then our domestic helpers will be allowed to cook their own food. And then religious tolerance, they are allowed to free and then exercise the religious belief. For people, wala yang sa iba, and they are given free time with a polyfeed for their weekly free hours outside the regular hours. And in terms of abuses, Jordan is a very, very much in terms of percentage, a very friendly nation versus without saying any country who, but in comparison to the rest of the neighboring countries. When this country was called Transjordan before, and then in 1948, the United Nations passed a resolution dividing State of Israel, State of Palestine. Unfortunately, the Palestine, together with the rest of the Arab world, rejected that resolution, and they went to war for many years. But Jordan, after that, realized the importance of neighborhood, good neighbors, signed a treaty with Israel, and Egypt also decided. So there is an emerging changes in approach, in diplomatic approach. And President Duterte, in coming here, said that we are willing to pay the burden or assume responsibility for those any country who are willing and respect the Philippines. And his message is to all Filipinos, stand up with head erect, look people into the eyes, be a Filipino. That is the message for this visit, to encourage our people to respect themselves and be honorable. Yes, that's very important because there is a new enemy today, global enemy, and that is radicalism, extremism, and it's creeping slowly into the Far East. And Jordan is one country also that will not allow such. And Philippines will depend upon the cooperation, assistance, military term, joint training, and I heard there is a discussion for donations of helicopters, but it's something for our leadership to pursue. But hopefully it will come to materialize, and in addition to that, much further cooperation will be undertaken, which is more meaningful and for our country. That is problems of overseas workers anywhere is a given thing. It's a given thing. We cannot just identify it's the fault of this country. For all you know, it's also the fault of our workers. But on a bigger scale, the problems here in Jordan is much lesser comparatively with others. Tolerable and manageable. We have good lawyers, and under our polo, under our embassy, they are always there to guide them, to protect them. So it's just a question of leadership, attention to the workers. Do not be remiss in your to extend all maximal cooperation. No let up yan. The problem is always there. You're like a specialist. You're a doctor, they come, you just do your best. And that's what we are doing. Exhaust everything because that is a given thing. You believe in destiny? The president said, I became president because it's the will of God. So I will pursue because they said, "Ki sera sera." What must come will come. What will not come will never come. So if you believe in God's will, trust on that. Everything, just do the best you can. God will inspire you to do what you must. And it will come. And that is the measurement of a stronger faith will conquer many things. If you have faith, it will come. Trust the will of God. Okay, our assurance to the Filipino people here that our embassy is always ready to help them at any time. At any time, we have action officers. At any time they can call. And then we have a polo office staffed with dedicated labor officials, not just but even psychological material ready to help. But there is a limit to what we can do. They must share with us. They must share with us in that responsibility. That's the best assurance we can get. Anytime we are ready.